Okay, so I'm delighted to have with me today goalkeeper James Carey. James, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
I'm very good. Again, I'm loving these calls because it's like I get to say I'm really excited and I'm delighted to have you back on board for the next season. I'm fresh off signing a one-year contract with the club. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I didn't really have any doubts about it. I think I was pretty nailed on that I wanted to stay. I wasn't looking at going anywhere else. I think I didn't really get a best run at it last season. So I'm just looking forward to the new season starting, really.
Yeah, so well, I did actually mention it on the John call. I was saying like, is anyone really grateful of last season kind of ending? But obviously, you were out for large portions of last season. So does it feel like
Yeah,
you haven't missed out, or do you still feel like oh no, I definitely missed out?
yeah, a little bit. It's a bit annoying, really, because when uh, the game stopped, it was only like a week or two after, and I felt good again. And I
No.
probably was fit again then, but the games had all stopped, so it was not really bit of a nightmare, really.
So one of the things that we know, obviously, like you've been with the club, joining us on a couple of loan occasions um, from Bristol City. So it'd be really like you coming through that sort of system. Well, how was it like to be at Bristol, a club like Bristol City, and how does it kind of really differ from being at a club like Frome?
Yeah, it is different. Obviously, it was all I joined at like 14 up until 19, so it was a good 5 years there. So all through school, and then obviously onto a 2-year scholarship and a 1-year pro deal, and then it comes to an end. But yeah, it is different. Obviously, as a full-time job, it's training every day, whereas obviously we're training once, twice a week now, so it is a bit different. But it is the same in many ways as well. It's like being with your mates, just playing football all the time. It's just enjoyable either way.
Well, I think that's one thing we've noticed that when you do play, you always seem to have a smile on your face. You always seem kind of like living for that moment. It's not sort of worry. You seem quite carefree. I don't know if that's an age thing or just or how you come across.
It's probably a bit of both, to be honest. I think it's important, obviously, that you're enjoying when you're playing. I don't think if you're not enjoying it, then what's the point, really? So I think that's the main reason for playing. And I don't think since coming from being full-time professional to playing part-time, I think I still enjoy it as much, if not even more now. So I think that's a good sign, really.
Well, I think that's one of the things that the fans really warned you when. Well, let's be honest. It's non. They said they non-league football where I think fans are used to in the past, sort of having those solid 37, 38-year-old goalkeepers that have either dropped down the divisions and that's what they're going for. But as we've seen across the sort of divisions and the signings and things like that, it's more of a progression ground now where people are still coming in to sort of build and go again to sort of get back into those sort of top four league sides. Is that how you feel, or is it just seeing where it goes?
Yeah, I think that is very common nowadays. I think all academy sides are loaning their young players out. I don't think under 23s football is really what it once was. I mean, it's more like under 18s now. All the under 23s are out playing non-league. When I was at City, I think every single player in the under 23s was on loan for some period of the year. So yeah, that is, especially with goalkeepers as well. The goalkeepers are always constantly being loaned out, and at other clubs as well. When I've been playing for Frome, when we're playing against other teams, and it's like I've played against goalkeepers from Rovers, and just always young goalkeepers seems to be more common non-league now.
So another sort of big difference must be the proximity of the crowd and things like that. So being 18, coming to sort of Southern League football, what's it like to be a goalkeeper? Because obviously you got most of the time got on the away fans behind you and doing their level best to try and put you off.
Yeah, it was interesting. Obviously, I wasn't really used to it at first, so I think first couple games it was a bit of a shock. At 18, just coming in, and probably the first crowd I've ever played against, other than like parents on the side, really. But yeah, I don't think it's something I really get caught up into too much. I like it when there's fans. It's a bit boring when the fans aren't there.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that really warms, not only that your performances when you first joined were just a step up, and I think that was just something that we could see, that obviously the professionalism that you brought, your kicking and stuff like that. It was just kind of like, wow, so we've really got a player here. Wonder how we can get him from Bristol City, and fans are stood around thinking, can we get someone from City? Is that possible? And obviously 2 years later, we're here, and I think it's one of the things that really endeared you was that when you played over 20 games that season, but when you got that injury in the first year, you were just often found in the stands watching. You were there, you were present, and I think that's one of the things that when you see people join loan clubs, that once they're injured or once it's not quite working out, they're never there to support the side. But it was always the fans noticed and saw you there.
Yeah, I think obviously I joined probably like, I think it was like 3 or 4 games into the season, so pretty much had the whole first half of the season, and just felt really welcome from the first game, and just felt like I was part of the team. And even when I couldn't play, I wanted to, when I could, when I didn't have other commitments with City, wanted to get along and watch the games, and just felt like I was part of the team, and didn't really feel like I was a lone player. Really, it just felt like I was the same as everyone else.
Do you think that's important then, as a lone player, to make yourself feel like you're part of the team and not feel like it's just being sent somewhere to get some experience?
Yeah, I think it comes with yourselves and the other people at the club to make it feel like that as well. I think the way that everyone was with me when I joined the club just made me feel like really welcome. The fans, coaches, players, everything, and just made it feel like that for me. And then obviously when I got the chance, obviously I kept in contact with Greavesy, and when the chance came up to come back here, it was a no-brainer for me. Really, there wasn't really any other teams in my mind. I just wanted to come back where I enjoyed playing originally.
Well, I'd say it's definitely good to have you back on that night. You mentioned Danny there. What's it like to actually play with a manager that is an ex-goalkeeper? Is that a help, a hindrance? Is it more pressure?
No, I think it's definitely a help massively. Obviously, when I first got told that I was going on loan to Frome, I knew nothing about anyone at the club or anything like that, and to find out that the gaffer is a goalkeeper, an ex-goalkeeper, is really helpful, because not only is he a manager, but he's a coach in many ways, like another goalkeeper coach essentially. And he's always there to provide extra training. I mean, even during lockdown, when we were allowed to do 1v1 one-on-one training sessions, he was training with me, and so even things like that is really helpful. And I think obviously, if there are certain things in a game, or if I do something wrong, or he sees me do something, he just understands it more, because obviously he's been there. I think with some managers, they're too quick to criticize the goalkeeper. I think sometimes he gets it because he used to be one. So I think that is helpful.
It's that infamous goalkeepers union that they talk about that no one quite knows
Yeah,
what goes on.
yeah.
So obviously this going into next year, obviously, how are you feeling about that? You must be excited. Is there any kind of targets or goals that you're looking at personally, or?
Nothing personally, really. Just the team. I think everyone knows that we're out there to win the league. There's no beating about the bush, really. I think everyone knows that. But yeah, just looking forward to getting going. Really, didn't really have the best time last year, and I think training over the last couple of weeks was really good, and everyone was in good spirits, and just looking forward to that first game, really.
And I think it's really interesting because when we've sort of spoken to the other players, it's looking at sort of like, as a youngster, and obviously Rex was sort of talking about the players that he kind of look up to and work with. Is there anyone in the squad that you kind of feel like, I know it's difficult because they're outfield players, that you kind of look up and sort of think, yeah, that's what I want to be, or I'm going to learn from him, or anything like that?
Yeah, I think we're not short of leaders within the group, really. I think there's a few in there. Obviously, you've got Teely, the captain, but fewer experienced boys as well, and just not just the experienced boys, some of the younger lads as well. There's no quiet ones really. Everyone's a leader. Everyone's talking all the time, and I think the relationships in the group it's probably the best group that I've ever worked with or seen, to be honest. The way everyone's just like a big group of mates, and it's just, everyone's got your back, and it's nice to see.
Well, that's fantastic. So, well, James, I think that just leaves me with to say, well, I'm delighted again to sort of say that you'll be with us for next season. Really excited. I think it's seeing your name down on the team sheet always brings that little bit of excitement to the fans, and they think, oh yeah, James is in there. This go, and they feel that confidence. And I think we've got that in so many positions where people just get sort of really excited, but it's always those ones. And as I always say, we never want to see Danny back in goal. So yeah. But thank you for your time this afternoon, and all the best for the new season.
Thanks, Scott. Cheers.